Good afternoon and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. We got done babysitting for the week. Our last day on Friday. Monday, Jack will be home before he goes to school. He starts school on Tuesday. And then after that, I'm by myself, which I did find some other things that I think the little boy we babysit for is like interested in that doesn't totally involve like me having to like, you know, completely like be like one-on-one with them or anything like that. Like, it's hard like when you have to play like board games or like card games and stuff like that, and like, you know, it's like just like, because when me and Matthew were babysat for by his mom when we were little, like it was the two of us. So like if we were playing something, sometimes we might like, you know, Matthew might be doing something by himself and maybe me and her were playing or doing something like that, or maybe me and Matthew were playing together while she was like making food or something like that, you know, or doing something else, or like, you know, whatever. And you know, maybe, you know, I was doing something by myself while she was like doing something with Matthew or whatever. And so it was like you could kind of like leave one kid to be independent and then like have one-on-one time, or like all three of us would do something together, like play a board game or whatever. But I feel like that's better. It's really like weird and difficult when you're playing like a board game like with just two people, like even just in general, any type of game that you're playing, like for the most part, like with just two people, it's like, I don't know, it's just, I never liked playing. I never have been a huge like board or card game like person, like any type of like game like that. And it's even like more difficult, I feel like, when it's like just one other person that you're playing with. Like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I feel like you at least need 3 people to like, for it to be entertaining. He's like at that like in-between age where he's not like a little like toddler anymore, but he's not like old enough that like, you know, he still like wants somebody to play with him, you know. And like with a little like littler kid or like a toddler or whatever, and you're like playing certain games like, you know, like board games or card games, whatever, and stuff like that, and it's a little bit more like, I don't know, I feel like things are more entertaining though when you play in a bigger group. Like, I feel like you lose interest or you get bored of a game very quickly when you're just playing with like one other person, because it's either you're gonna win or I'm gonna win. Like, you know, there's no like, ooh, like what is this person thinking or what is that person doing or whatever. And so it doesn't add a lot of like levels to like gameplay and stuff like that when you're playing with one other person. But like with a toddler, if you're just playing with like, you know, yourself and like the toddler or whatever, I feel like it's a little bit better. But then like I said, like now like you're kind of at that age where like he understands like either I'm gonna win the game or you're gonna win the game, you know. It's not like with like a littler kid. Like I feel like his little sister, who's like I think 3 or 4 years old or something like that, like, you know, it would probably be maybe a little bit better. But it's like hard to find stuff like that that, like I said, is like good for like just a one-on-one, but like also for his age, if that makes sense. So I think we kind of dipped into a little bit of that today, because again, like if we're playing board games, it's like me, him, and Jack all playing together, or a card game or something like that. But yeah, like the fact that Jack's gonna be at school and I'll be babysitting for pretty much 3 weeks without Jack, is like I have to find stuff that is gonna at least keep his interest, I guess. And then too, like, and he like loves the video games, and we found like a bunch of Jack's like, you know, age appropriate video games and stuff like that for him to play. But it's like I don't want him to like have to be playing video games all day. Like I want to do something that's a little bit more like stimulating and stuff like that, instead of like, you know, him just like mindlessly playing video games, which is like, you know, like I said, like some people like board games or doing reading, like obviously I can read him a book and stuff like that, and that kind of thing. But it's like 1 or 2 books, and again, it's kind of that like, okay, I've kind of lost interest in that, like let's go do something else now. And so yeah, that's why I feel like I need like to try and figure that kind of stuff out, which I felt like today, like I said, me and Jack kind of figured some stuff out that he was kind of entertained by. We actually had this like this fun game where you actually do like it's like, it's got like maybe 4 or 5 balls of like 4 different colors like on the inside of this like grate kind of thing. I'm sure it sounds really weird with the way I'm describing it, but like you actually move the balls to get them into like the right place and to make a pattern using these like cards that they give you that has a pattern. And he actually really liked that, and it's very independent play as well that he was able to do by himself. And like there's 2 sets though, so you can do it also as a race if you wanted to see like who can do it first. But it's like actually very quiet and very independent, and he really seemed to like that. So I was like, this is like a really good, you know, like game activity kind of thing that he can do by himself. He doesn't really like, I've tried to kind of see if he wants to color a few times too, and he didn't seem like he's a huge like into like coloring and like coloring books and stuff like that or anything. So yeah, he really is into like science and like math, so that's why I was like, I should see if we have like some type of like science books, or like, I don't know, like I don't want to be like, here, let's do math problems, but like he is very smart about that. So that's why like a lot of times like if he is playing something, like he'll be playing Minecraft or something like that, and like I'll ask him like math questions to go along with it to try and, you know, again add in a little bit of, you know, like brain stimulation other than again just sitting there and playing video games all day. But like that kind of thing. And so my mom actually had, from when we were homeschooled, was this like curriculum was actually called 5 in a row. Basically you're supposed to read the same book for 5 days in a row, and each different day you'll have like a different activities to do with it. If it's art activities, science activities, like math, you know, reading, like social studies, like geography, whatever it is, but there'll be different like things based off of that book that you'll do for 5 days in a row. Now obviously because we only have 3 weeks left, I'm really not thinking, and some of this stuff isn't like, I mean it's like okay age, but it's like I don't know that like, again, it would be something that'd be totally entertaining, or like totally like, I don't want to like do school like, you know, and be like full on like doing like lessons and stuff like that. But there is like some books that we could incorporate other things with, and so I was like, that would be like a smart a smart idea, I guess. Like, you know, some maybe art activities, or some, again, like different type of activities. And so I was trying to figure this out, and I'm trying to think of like some things that we could possibly do, and we have most of the books for them already. I actually didn't even realize we read a handful of them that we could do the activities with, and you know, like that, the curriculum, like lesson plan kind of stuff. But I don't know where the 5 in a row recipe book, teacher's manual actually book is anywhere. And I spent like hours up in the attic today while it was so hot up there trying to find it, because I was like, this would be just so perfect. Because, you know, if there was like one thing, like, you know, if I was like, oh, maybe the art lesson wouldn't really be really good, they'll give you like a few art lessons so that you could, again, like if you're doing it 5 days in a row, you could be like, okay, we'll do art on, you know, Monday and Wednesday or whatever, and then we'll do geography on Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll do math on, you know, Monday and Friday or something, you know, whatever it was gonna be. And so you could like make it that way. And so they don't give you like 5 art lessons or whatever, I don't think. At least that was from what I was reading from like the pre-one online. But like I said, I know we have it somewhere, and I know I've seen the book recently, but I don't know where it is. Like when me and Matthew were cleaning up there, but there's a box of like all my mom's like old homeschool stuff, and so I was like, I really wish I could find it. But I did find some other like art books in the attic that aren't like about, I found one, I think I was even telling you guys, it's actually a thumbprint. So you are actually supposed to get like an ink pad, and you use your thumbprint, and then you actually make them into little like different figures and stuff like that. You can make them into like animals, or you can make hats on like them and make them into people or whatever. And it's actually, I loved the book when I was little, and I think it'd be something that he would probably find a little entertaining. So I was like, I totally want to do that, but the only problem is I don't think we have like an ink pad that we'd be able to use. So we might have to go to like the store and try and find one. Or you could honestly probably just use like white ball, like Crayola, like washable markers. and just do that and just draw it on your thumb and then print it down. And so then you just like make like I said, like these thumbprint designs. And so I found like something like that. I also found some other just like art, like reading books. Like one is like classic art with like, it's like as an I Spy book, which was kind of cool. So I found some of that stuff in the attic, so that's what I'm thinking of. But today was a really good like I said, pre-day to kind of test out like what are some things that are good independent things that he can like kind of do by himself, and kind of taking some of the, you know, like Jack didn't have as much like time, you know, like he was also gone because they had to leave to go drop off his what's that thing called, his like school physical and stuff like that, so he can get his, what is it, not green card, his like yellow card I think, or something like that. I don't know what they're calling it. Some type of card is like he's proven at least that he's like, he's turned his stuff in so that he can like still play sports, and then if anything comes back like, oh no, you have this, you can't play it like anymore, which I don't know why they wouldn't do that. I think, I don't know if you're supposed to get a yellow card or green card or red card or something like that, like if you can at least play. I think yellow is like you can start playing, they just have to review all of your stuff. I think that's what that means. I don't know why they called it a yellow card. And then you can like start practicing for football and stuff like that for sports. So yeah, he went and got that today. Him and my dad were only gone for like a half hour, an hour or something like that. So like I said, that was some time that we spent, like, you know, it was just me and him, and I was, like I said, trying to figure that kind of stuff out. And it was a good, like I said, trial for next week when I'll be by myself, which I babysat like alone and stuff like that, but I just feel like he's at the perfect age where like he really thinks Jack is just like super cool, and I'm kind of the one that's just like, hey, let's eat now, like, you know, let's read now, like, you know, kind of just like, I'll have the schedule and everything like that, but he just like thinks Jack is so cool. I'm like, Jack, play video games with me, and Jack, do this, and you know, like, let's play this, or let's go do this or whatever. And like, and I'm kind of just the one that's like, you know, like I said, like has got the schedule down and like, okay, we should probably have lunch now, or you know, we should probably go and do this, or let's read, or you know, let's do this activity that I had planned or whatever. But like normally he'll think it's like really cool if Jack's doing it, you know, so if he's like, oh, Jack's doing it, then I want to do it too, you know. And so that's why like it's a really good buffer. I'll be like, Jack, why don't you try out this, you know, thumbprint book too? And then he'd probably be like, oh, I want to do that, that looks really fun or really cool. But he just thinks like whenever Jack's doing something that it's just really cool, and he wants to do it then too. And so that's why, like, you know, Jack's like the perfect, like, you know, like age for him to kind of be like, he looks up to him. And so that's why I was like, yeah, it's gonna be weird, like, you know, these next, because we've been both babysitting together, so that's why I'm like, it's gonna be weird these next like 3 weeks when it's just me, and like he doesn't have that, like, you know, cool buddy to look up to or whatever. But it's so funny though, because his little sister is like the same with me. She's like, when can Kayla babysit me? Like she was asking that today when she came with her mom to come and pick up her brother, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. So she's like, I want to spend a day like with Kayla, and I want her to babysit me. So yeah, it's so sweet. But she was like kind of doing that, like she always comes and gives me a hug too whenever she comes and sees me. I was like, oh my goodness, you're just like melting my heart right now. But anyways, guys, I gotta get to the grocery store tomorrow in the morning, so I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.